War. It's a word most of us hope to never hear in our lifetimes. Yet, behind closed doors, strategic plans are being drafted, military budgets are swelling, and nations are quietly but unmistakably preparing for potential conflict. From aggressive weapons testing to unprecedented defense spending hikes, the world is holding its breath as geopolitical tensions reach boiling points. So, which countries are bracing for possible war in 2025? Grab your seat and get ready. You might be surprised by who's gearing up for battle. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more engaging content like this. Let's find out. Number 10. Japan. Japan, historically committed to pacifism, is now redefining its defense posture. In 2024, the Japanese government announced a record $51 billion defense budget, marking a 26.3% increase from the previous year. This shift is driven by growing concerns over China's maritime ambitions and North Korea's missile provocations. Tokyo is investing heavily in advanced weaponry, including hypersonic missiles and long-range cruise missiles. Recent reports confirm the purchase of 105 F-35 stealth fighters, making Japan the largest foreign operator of these cutting-edge jets. Additionally, Japan is enhancing its cybersecurity capabilities to counter potential cyberattacks from hostile nations. The Senkaku Islands remain a significant flashpoint with China. In early 2024, Chinese Coast Guard vessels repeatedly entered Japanese waters, prompting diplomatic protests. In response, Japan has expanded its naval patrols and intensified joint military drills with the United States. Public sentiment regarding military expansion has shifted as well. A 2024 poll showed 64% of Japanese citizens support increasing defense spending, up from 43% in 2020. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida emphasized the need for proactive defense measures to maintain regional stability. With rising threats in the Indo-Pacific, Japan is preparing for contingencies that seemed unthinkable just a decade ago. Number 9. Turkey. Turkey, a NATO member with regional ambitions, has significantly increased its military activities. In 2024, Ankara boosted its defense budget by 150%, reaching $28 billion. This move underscores its commitment to expanding military influence across the Eastern Mediterranean, the Middle East, and beyond. Turkey's drone industry remains a critical asset. The Bayraktar TB2 drones, which gained international recognition in conflicts like Libya and Ukraine, are now being upgraded with AI capabilities. Turkish defense companies reported a 32% rise in exports in the first half of 2024, with sales to Africa and Eastern Europe surging. Tensions with Greece continue to simmer. Disputes over territorial waters in the Aegean Sea escalated in March 2024, when Turkish jets flew over Greek islands. NATO has since urged both nations to de-escalate, but Ankara maintains a robust military presence in the area. In Syria, Turkey's military has reinforced its positions along the border, targeting Kurdish groups it deems as terrorist threats. A new wave of operations was launched in April 2024, despite international criticism. President Erdogan stated that ensuring border security remains a non-negotiable priority. As Turkey balances its NATO obligations with regional assertiveness, its preparations for potential conflicts are intensifying. Number 8. Iran. Iran has ramped up its military readiness amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. In 2024, Tehran increased its defense budget by 35%, allocating $22 billion for missile programs, naval expansion, and drone production. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) remains at the forefront of these efforts. Iran's missile arsenal is now the largest in the region. In July 2024, the IRGC tested the Khaybar-Shekan missile, with a range of 450 kilometers, threatening both Israel and U.S. bases in the Gulf. Satellite images also revealed new missile sites being constructed along the country's western borders. Iran's influence through regional proxies has intensified. Hezbollah in Lebanon, Shia militias in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen have all received increased support. A UN report indicated that Iran supplied over 500 drones to these groups in 2024 alone. Naval activities have expanded as well. Iranian warships have been patrolling the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz more aggressively. In May 2024, a British oil tanker was seized, prompting international condemnation. With diplomatic efforts faltering, Iran's military preparations suggest it is ready for potential confrontations in 2025. Number 7. South Korea. South Korea, facing persistent threats from the north, continues to bolster its defenses. In 2024, Seoul approved a $52 billion defense budget, an 8% increase from 2023. This investment focuses on missile defense, surveillance technology, and naval capabilities. The deployment of advanced THAAD missile defense systems has expanded. In March 2024, the South Korean military successfully tested a new interceptor capable of neutralizing North Korean hypersonic missiles. Additionally, the Air Force has received new F-35 jets to strengthen its aerial defense. Joint military exercises with the United States have increased. The 2024 Freedom Shield drills involved 300,000 troops and simulated large-scale conflict scenarios. North Korea responded with missile tests and threats of unimaginable consequences. South Korea is also enhancing its naval presence. New submarines equipped with ballistic missiles were deployed in the Yellow Sea in April 2024. Defense officials cited concerns over Chinese and North Korean activities in the region. With tensions on the Korean peninsula showing no signs of easing, Seoul's military preparations are intensifying to ensure national security. Number 6. India. India, a rising power in Asia, is preparing for potential confrontations on multiple fronts. The 2024 defense budget reached $73 billion, marking a 15% increase from the previous year. The primary focus remains on modernizing its air force, navy, and cyber capabilities. Border tensions with China remain unresolved. Along the line of actual control LAC, India deployed an additional 5,000 troops in May 2024 following reports of Chinese construction near contested areas. Satellite images showed new fortifications on both sides. India's naval strategy has also evolved. The Indian Navy commissioned 2 new destroyers and expanded its presence in the Indian Ocean to counter Chinese influence. Maritime exercises with Australia, Japan, and the U.S. have increased under the Quad Alliance. Internally, the defense sector is seeing rapid growth. The state-run Hindustan Aeronautics Limited reported a 28% increase in production in 2024, driven by export contracts with Southeast Asia and Africa. With unresolved border disputes and increasing maritime ambitions, India's military preparations for 2025 are unmistakable. Number 5. Israel. Israel has intensified its military readiness in response to escalating regional threats. The 2024 defense budget climbed to $27 billion, reflecting an 18% increase. The Israel Defense Forces (IDF) have prioritized missile defense, drone technology, and cyber capabilities. The Iron Dome system received a significant upgrade this year, with new interceptors designed to counter hypersonic missiles. In April 2024, Israel successfully tested the Arrow 4 missile defense system, demonstrating its ability to destroy targets in space. Border tensions have worsened. Hezbollah launched over 300 rockets from southern Lebanon in the first half of 2024, prompting Israeli retaliatory strikes. The IDF has since reinforced positions in the north and increased aerial patrols. Cyber warfare capabilities have also expanded. Israeli intelligence reported thwarting 7 cyberattacks in 2024, most attributed to Iranian hackers. The Cyber Command has doubled its personnel in response. As threats multiply, Israel remains vigilant and prepared for potential escalations in 2025. Number 4. Ukraine. Ukraine continues its desperate defense against Russian forces. In 2024, Kyiv allocated $48 billion to its military, accounting for 30% of its GDP. This funding supports artillery replenishment, drone production, and recruitment efforts. The conflict in Donbas remains intense. Ukrainian forces launched over 200 drone strikes on Russian oil facilities in the first half of 2024, targeting logistical infrastructure. Moscow responded with airstrikes on key Ukrainian cities. International support remains crucial. NATO countries pledged an additional $50 billion in aid in April 2024, providing advanced missile systems and armored vehicles. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that these resources are essential for survival. Domestically, the arms industry has expanded rapidly. Ukrainian factories produced 5,000 drones in the first quarter alone, a 40% increase from 2023. Recruitment centers have reported a surge in volunteer sign-ups. As the war drags on, Ukraine's military preparations for 2025 are relentless. Number 3. Russia. Russia continues to prioritize its military objectives despite international sanctions. The 2024 defense budget soared to $106 billion, constituting nearly 7% of GDP. Military production has shifted to wartime levels, with factories running around the clock. The war in Ukraine remains Russia's primary focus. In February 2024, Russian forces captured key positions near Bakhmut, signaling renewed momentum. The Kremlin has also increased drone attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure. Beyond Ukraine, Russia is expanding its presence in the Arctic. New missile installations and military bases were unveiled in May 2024 to secure resource-rich territories. Joint naval exercises with China and Iran have intensified. The conscription system has also been overhauled. Russia raised the maximum conscription age to 30 in January 2024, adding thousands of new soldiers. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu declared the need for a self-reliant military industry. With no diplomatic resolution in sight, Russia's war preparations continue unabated. Number 2. China. China's military preparations have accelerated significantly. The 2024 defense budget hit $230 billion, marking a 7.6% increase. This rise aligns with Beijing's ambition to dominate the Indo-Pacific and beyond. Naval expansion is a top priority. China launched 5 new destroyers and 2 aircraft carriers this year alone. Satellite imagery revealed additional bases being built in the South China Sea. Taiwan remains the central concern. In April 2024, 90 Chinese warplanes crossed Taiwan's air defense zone in a single day, the largest incursion to date. The People's Liberation Army (PLA) is rehearsing for what Beijing calls reunification by force if necessary. Cyber operations have surged. US officials reported a 40% increase in Chinese-origin cyberattacks targeting infrastructure in the Pacific. Meanwhile, China has expanded partnerships with Russia, conducting joint drills in the Sea of Japan. With tensions at an all-time high, China's military buildup continues unchecked. Number 1. United States. The United States remains the world's preeminent military power, but its preparations for future conflicts have intensified. In 2024, the defense budget soared to $842 billion, the highest in history. This funding supports operations in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The Indo-Pacific Command received the largest budget share. In May 2024, the U.S. deployed additional forces to Guam and the Philippines to counter China's growing influence. Joint exercises with Japan and Australia have expanded significantly. In Europe, NATO cooperation has reached new levels. U.S. troops participated in Defender 2024, the largest NATO drill since the Cold War. These exercises simulated scenarios involving potential Russian aggression. Cybersecurity efforts have also increased. The Pentagon launched a new AI-driven defense network in June 2024 to protect military infrastructure from foreign cyberattacks. Military officials warned that China and Russia are actively probing US networks. As global tensions rise, the U.S. military is preparing for multi-theater conflicts in 2025. Here are 5 practical tips to consider if you're traveling to or living in a country preparing for war in 2025. Monitor travel advisories regularly. Check official government websites for the latest travel warnings, as situations in conflict-prone areas can change rapidly. Have an emergency evacuation plan. Know the nearest embassy, secure necessary visas, and have a plan for leaving the country if tensions escalate. Keep essential documents and supplies ready. Passports, identification, financial records, and emergency kits should always be accessible in case of sudden unrest. Stay informed through reliable sources. Follow trustworthy international news outlets and avoid misinformation that can cause panic or confusion. Blend in and stay neutral. Avoid discussing political matters, participating in protests, or drawing attention to yourself in potentially volatile areas. The world is on edge as these 10 countries ramp up their military preparations. From border disputes to ideological rivalries, the risk of conflict has not been this high in decades. Which of these nations do you think will spark the next major confrontation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more insights from Globe Discoveries. Stay curious, stay informed, stay safe.